Hi there, it's Haley, and today I'm going to be doing a special Q&A video for my viewers on Tapastic. While I do this video, I'll just be drawing the updated banner for my comic, Unfamiliar. So let's get started on the Q&A questions right away. The first question I was asked by Jankster, what is the most expensive thing I had to buy for my art classes? So the most expensive thing I actually have that I use for art school is probably my computer, but the most expensive thing I bought specifically for school is definitely my paints. They required that we use golden acrylic paint, which is a kind of expensive brand, and they had us get some of the more expensive paints within that line, so like the cadmiums, the cobalts, and it ended up being, I think, over $400 to get those paints, and it's a real shame. I was very salty about it because I don't really paint outside of the computer in my own time, and yeah, so I have a lot of really expensive paint that's not being used. Question 2 from Iron, is my hair pink right now? Yes, it is. It's mostly the bottom half is like a pure pastel pink, and then the top half is more of a rose gold. And yeah, I usually have at least some pink in my hair, so that's why I always draw myself with pink hair. And I was also asked, what other colors would I or have I dyed my hair? That question was from Lance Jelly. I've dyed my hair a lot of different colors, pretty much all the natural colors. I've gone very, very light blonde. I've gone very, very dark brown to almost the point of black. I've done like a cherry red, auburn, and then I've also done lavender, darker purple, and lots of pink stripes, pink ombre, full head of hair pink. Pretty much pink's my favorite, and these days that's usually what I have in my hair. The next question is, well, these next two questions are very similar, and I almost thought I would just put them into one, but I think they're different enough. So the first question was, what inspired me to create Unfamiliar? That was a question asked by Blue Soap. And basically I was inspired by my love of cute things and creepy things, and I really love like the Halloween kind of aesthetic, and I just really wanted to make a comic that was like, that had horror motifs but wasn't scary at all. Maybe that's really weird, but that's just the kind of thing I like, and I don't find a lot of things like that, so I kind of wanted to make something like that. And yeah, I came up with the idea when I was just sort of sketching on my own, not really trying to make anything special. I was just drawing some characters, and it sort of turned into this character lineup of all these witches, and I was like, wow, I feel like these guys would have a story. So I basically started out with character designs and nothing else, and then I built a story around them. And then the story changed the character designs. It was a whole weird organic thing. Yeah. And then the question that was similar to this one was asked by Tokudoku, what inspired me to work on Unfamiliar? And that's slightly different, actually. What inspired me to work on Unfamiliar was basically the point that I'm at in my life right now. I have a comic that I started when I was 15 years old, and it had almost 1,000 subscribers, and I felt very loyal to it, but I just didn't want to work on it anymore, and it made me really sad to not have a comic. I've been doing comics for a super long time, and it felt super weird not to have one to work on. And I kept finding myself putting off schoolwork to draw like little comics about my life, and I just really felt like I needed a project, especially because I'm in my last year of university, and at least at my art school, it gets less and less sort of dictated to you what you need to be doing, and more you need to give yourself projects and make a really great finished thing for your portfolio. So it was just a really perfect time for me to start on a project like this, and I am inspired to work on it every day because I really like the story. Like I usually don't think this far ahead. Like usually I don't know how the story is going to end when I start it, which is a bad habit, but this time I know the entire narrative from start to finish, so I'm just excited to show everyone the full story. So that's what inspires me to work on it. Okay. Question number 5 is, what is a kitchen witch? Is it like a chef? That question was asked by Valanra. A kitchen witch is actually I believe actual pagan people use this term. It basically means like a witch who mainly works around food and does magic in the kitchen, like with kitchen tools, and it's like enchanting food and whatnot. And Planchette is a kitchen witch because she can only do magic that's related to food, basically. Every other type of magic doesn't work for her. And partially that's because she grew up in the suburbs and she didn't really have a use for any other type of magic. She just she learned to do magic in the kitchen, and that's all she's managed to figure out, which is kind of embarrassing for her, but I think it's super adorable. And Valanra also asked, what different types of witches are there in this world? So that's a little bit of a spoiler, but I'll let you know about some that you'll definitely be seeing soon. So in the unfamiliar world, it's kind of like there's a few different types of mythological type creatures and also witches. So we have kitchen witches, and then we have witches that are based almost entirely on their familiar. I almost said on their unfamiliar. So like they're witches whose magic comes entirely in the shape basically of whatever animal is their familiar. So like if you had a rabbit familiar and you were this type of witch, maybe you could do magic to jump really high or to run really fast, something like that, you know? But as for going into more detail than that, you'll just have to read the story and find out. Okay, question 6. What are other foods Planchette can make with spells, and what do I love to cook? This was a question asked by the Leaky Pen. So Planchette can make lots of different types of food, usually kind of comfort food. That's her favorite thing to make, but basically I think her specialties are like pizza, donuts, junk food for like teenagers. That's the thing she's best at. And I love to cook curries and soups because it's really hard to mess up and it's fun to stir the pot. Maybe because I can pretend it's a cauldron, and yeah, I'm pretty obsessed with witches lately. Yeah, I like to make sauces and soups and anything that you stir. I also love to make doughs, so like cookie and bread dough is really fun to work with because you get to squish it around, and yeah. Question 7 is, what are some movies, artists, or other comics that inspire my work? And this question was asked by X Usako. So that's a huge question. I'm inspired by so many different things, and I find it's movies and music the most. I try not to get too much inspiration from other artists and comics just because I'm really scared of stealing people's ideas, which is probably silly, but it's true. I totally have like issues with that. I'm very worried that someone's gonna be like, oh, like the way you draw that eyeball is totally like this other artist and you're a fraud. Which is really, that's a silly anxiety to have, but I have it. So anyway, movies, definitely like Wes Anderson's films, Miyazaki movies, like atmospheric films, I find they inspire me the most, and especially movies with interesting editing, like interesting transitions and just interesting visual ways of telling a story, I find really inspire me. Like I loved Moonrise Kingdom, I loved The Grand Budapest Hotel, I love Princess Mononoke. Those are all movies that really inspire me when I watch them. And I'm sure there's lots more. I love movies so much, so that's probably a whole video to itself on movies that inspire me. But there's lots of artists and comics I really love. I just try not to let them influence my work too much. But yeah, thank you for that question. Joel Sedano 26 asked, if there's something strange in my neighborhood, who would I call? And I would say probably the Ghostbusters. Yeah, I think so. Question 9 is, what artists have inspired my style? Also, if I was a magical girl, what would I look like and what power would I have? And this question was asked by Ringa Rune. Artists who have inspired my style are, there's a lot. I would probably say Brian Lee O'Malley, who did Scott Pilgrim, Jonan Vasquez, who did Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, and Squee, and I Feel Sick, and Invader Zim. And then I'm also just very inspired by like cute art from Japan, like kawaii culture art, I guess. Like sort of the Sanrio, all of that kind of situation. There's lots of Japanese pop artists I really, really like, and they inspire my style a lot. And sort of Nintendo aesthetic, I guess, also inspires me, and that have influenced my style. And if I was a magical girl, my power would probably be drawing anything I want into existence, and kind of like Okami. And what would I look like? Probably really pink, and really, probably like a pink goth magical girl. Even though I don't really dress in goth stuff, but it would probably be like a creepy, cute, pink magical girl. That's my hope. Maybe I'll draw that. Maybe I'll draw that for one of my speed paints in the future. Thank you very much for this question, Rena. Question 10, pineapples or normal apples? This was asked by I'm a Magic Muffin. And I would say pineapples. I like to eat pineapples a lot at school. It prevents me from getting scurvy because they're very cheap to get in cans, and they're delicious. Question 11 is, will there be a love interest in this story at all? Just curious. This was referring to Unfamiliar. And this question was asked by Rachel Rausch. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. In a way, there will be a love interest, but I can't tell you more than that. Number 12 is kind of heavy. This was asked by MJ's Questions. Is it worth it going to college? Now, this is kind of hard to answer because I feel like for some people it definitely is, and for some people it isn't. And I assume you're talking mostly about art college because this question was asked on Disaster Piece, which is about me going to art college. So first of all, I'm not done with college, so I don't know yet if it's going to make a substantial difference for me. I do know that at least in America, where I live, it's really important that you have a degree. It's very hard to even get your resume looked at career type jobs if you don't have a bachelor's degree. So I would say that getting some kind of degree is a good idea. For example, I'm getting a bachelor's in design, but I do know that there's a lot of people who have gone to places like CalArts and who have acquired so much debt that they can't ever see themselves paying it off. And I don't think that that's worth it, because even if you get like a job at Pixar or something from being at CalArts, you still have like $400,000 of debt, and that will be very difficult for you to overcome. So I would say if you're not someone who's exceptionally wealthy and you're someone who has a pretty normal income, I would say try to find a school that's good but is not super expensive. Like, don't go to a premier art school just because it's well known. There's places where you can get a good education and you won't you won't incur that kind of debt. So yeah, just try to balance the benefits and the cost as best as you can, because you definitely don't want to go into really significant debt, especially if you're going to the art field, because it's hard to make a lot of money doing art. You can definitely get jobs, but you're probably not going to be wealthy, so don't get so much debt that you would need to be wealthy to pay it off. So yeah, I hope that answered your question. Question 13 is, how long have I been drawing digitally? This question came from Galaxy Noodles. I've been drawing digitally, I believe, since I was 14, perhaps? Yeah, I think 14 about. That's when I got my first tablet for Christmas, and it was so exciting. It's an Intuos 4 medium, and I still use it to this day. It's still the tablet I'm using, and I love it to death. It's covered in stickers. and it looks like trash, but I absolutely love it. And I've been drawing digitally ever since. I never went back. Like, I never missed traditional. I know a lot of people get super good at traditional and then they miss it when they go to digital, but I was just crazy about it from the start. And how did I come up with Planchette's design? This was also asked by Galaxy Noodles. Planchette's design really developed a lot, and if you go on like my Twitter, you can actually see all the different stages of her design. She started out as like a cyclops, and she looked really a lot scarier and more like gothy, but now she's really cute. It sort of developed naturally. She used to be really skinny too, and then I realized like all my characters are really skinny, so I gave her super chubby legs so that she would stand out. And yeah, I don't know, it's one of those things where it sort of organically developed for a while. And yeah, I just wanted to create a character who looked super unthreatening, but also had sort of like a dark outfit. I don't know. She's like a mall goth. I'm not even sure what's going on with her. But thank you very much for your question. Question 4, chocolate or cake? This was asked by Rutuja. Chocolate cake, usually. And the last question asked by Fudge Wolf is, can I describe my life in one word? And I think the word I'll use is fun, because it is fun right now. I wouldn't have said that even just a couple months ago, but I'm in a really good place right now, and yeah, every day has been pretty fun, so that's a good way to end the video. Thank you everyone for reading my comic, for asking me questions. Please reach out to me if there's more questions that weren't answered that you want answered. Just comment below or wherever you want, and I'll answer them as soon as I can. And thank you for watching this video. If you want to see more of my art, my comics, or are interested in commissioning me, please check the description box for links to my Twitter, Tumblr, Tapastic, Facebook, all the websites. Yes.